Expectedly going to have to jump off early. I don't know if one of you are willing to help her take meeting minutes. I think she uses AI and then supplements, but if one of you would be willing when she passes the baton off, or if we can find someone. And I know Sudi has the gifted and talented course that she's taking, so she'll have to jump off at some point here too. We should still have quorum though, with us three and then Doug and Mr. Baker.
Hello, can someone check YouTube?
It's good. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. I believe we have enough to get started here. If we want to start recording. Principal Hollis, do you want me to click record or? I don't know if I can.
I don't think you can, but it's recording on YouTube already.
Oh, okay. And then is the AI feature on? Yes. Okay, great. So I'll call the meeting of the Howard Go team to order. It is 4:46 on January 27th, 2026. I'd like to remind everyone that this is a meeting of the Go team. Only members of the team may participate in the discussion, and any members of the public present are here to quietly observe. There is public comment at the beginning and end, and we will check that in a second to see if anyone has signed up for that. Our first order of business is to call roll. And Hina is not here. There she is.
Sorry, Dan, I was just
That's okay.
able to get. For some reason, I kept getting invalid meeting ID. I don't know. Okay, Principal Hollis,
President,
Mr. Brooks. Is Brooks on? I don't.
Yes.
Yes, got it.
President,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Let's see, Dion,
Present.
Joshua,
Here.
Dr. Regina,
Present. Oh, present.
Sudi,
Present.
Jason,
Present.
Boyd, I don't see Boyd. Okay. And Jenny.
Present. Present.
Perfect.
Perfect. So that is quorum. And the next order of business is approving to the agenda that was sent to you from Principal Hollis. If everyone wants to look over that, are there any edits, additions, modifications? I hear none. So if I could take a motion to approve the agenda.
I motion that we approve the agenda.
Thank you, Sudie. And a second?
Second.
Who was that? I'm sorry.
That was-
Mr. Langbein?
That was
Thank you.
Jason. Yep.
All those in
Jason.
favor, you could raise your hand. Perfect. I believe that is unanimous. All those opposed? I hear none. All those abstaining? None again. Okay, next order of business is the approval of the November meeting minutes that Hina sent to everybody. Were there any edits or additions that needed to be made? Okay, hearing none. A motion to approve those, the November meeting minutes from 2025.
So moved.
Thank you, Josh. A second.
Second.
Thank you. And all those in favor, raise your hand or say aye. I see Sudie's hand, my hand, Mr. Langbein, Hina's, Josh.
Aye.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Jenny. And Miss Bryant? Perfect. So that is unanimous for that vote of approval of the meeting minutes from November. Do we have any public comments today? Anybody sign up for public comment?
I'm looking now.
Okay, I think we usually do that next before we start.
No, we do not have any.
Perfect. And we'll check at the end just in case again. So no public comment for today. So we're going to move right into, I believe, the discussion items. Principal Hollis, do you want to take over? Does that sound good?
Sure. So the first item that was, if needed, is around program changes. We are not changing any programs as of right now. We are keeping all of the connections classes we have. We are keeping all of the advanced coursework that we have, meaning the 6th grade high school science, the 8th grade high school science, and the accelerated math pathways. So we do not have anything that is changing for our program. Do I have any questions around that before we move on to finalizing our strategic plan?
Are we able to keep the same amount of sections of those courses?
Yes, that is the goal, to keep the same amount of sections that we have now. And so based on the information that we'll glean from MAP assessment and any changes that the district is doing to qualifying for advanced coursework, then after we finalize that information, then we will open the potential of random selection for second look with any available seats that we have.
Okay. And then are we able to expand? This might come in the next meeting. I'm not sure. Just let me know. Are we able to expand if necessary based on kids that need various courses with some of these programs as
The only
we
thing
grow?
that we expand is with mathematics. We don't expand the high school courses because it's not required, but math is your course. And that's the only one that we traditionally make space to expand. And that traditionally comes, and it really more so happens with the 6th grade families. And the second look that comes once they get to the school. So
Okay.
that is still being built into the master schedule.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So finalizing the strategic plan, remember we reviewed our mission and vision, we reviewed our proposed goals, We have identified our objectives, and then we need to rank them. That's what we are, to approve and rank. So we have to approve the whole plan and then rank. Do we have any discussion around the plan as it stands? It has been available since November. So this is what the plan looks like, as you can see here. So I will open the floor for any comments, questions. I think we kind of got all that out the last time, but I want to just make sure before someone motions for a vote.
Did we have students identified as ELL in there? I don't see it here. I thought we added that last year, last Go team school year, and I thought we were keeping that.
We did add it from an attendance perspective, from a school-based perspective. We did not add it to the actual goals in the strategic plan. But if someone wants to lift that as a desire, that is fine.
I would like to lift that again, because that's one of our subgroups that performs lower.
It's up for discussion for everyone else. The reason why I'm somewhat hesitant for doing it is that our number of students that are in that subgroup changes. So, and especially with our current climate. Additionally, for the test to count, the person has to be within the school or within stateside for 2 years or more. And so the wonder is, would it be more prudent? I mean, as a school, we're looking more so at our access testing, and I can invite someone from that department to come and speak on that. But that's kind of where you're going to have all the EL students data, like all of their data count for the school is in the access test, not in the milestones. So
maybe we could get a presentation from them and find a spot that we could report out. And does that
we
sound
can
like
definitely
a
report it
plan?
out. Or we can plan to report out, and then after
Have it,
monitoring it, see if we need to add it. But right now, as a school, we're looking more so at the attendance versus the actual milestones data for that subset. We have less than 40 students in that category right now.
right,
School.
I'd say that. That is a KPI though, right? That we have. Okay. So maybe I would I would propose that we see if we could get someone like you suggested to report out on some access data. I know it's on the readiness dashboard, Godot dashboard. So we can this is a living document, so it can be modified at any time. So I don't think that holds up us doing anything today. That's the only
That
one
is
coming.
correct. It would just kind of dictate, how spending is done, but traditionally we are allocated those teachers, and we use the allocation so in the way that has been stated. So I don't know that it hinders this conversation.
Correct. Okay.
Is everybody okay with that? Awesome. I'm going back and forth toggling, so it is difficult to see. So now we need to take action and vote on that strategic plan. We need someone to motion and second.
I move we approve the 2025 to 2030 strategic plan.
I second.
All those in favor? I see Miss Bryant's hand, myself, Josh Griggs, Jason Langbean, Hina, Sudi, Doug. Jenny, I can't see your
And me.
screen. Sorry. Thank you, Jenny. Perfect. And there are none then opposed and no one abstaining since it was unanimous.
Awesome. Thank you. I was trying to write down. Can I ask, when do you want the person from ESOL to come to talk on the data, since we have kind of, what is it called, like intense conversations about to happen in these next 2 meetings? So is it okay to wait until March, or do you want it like the next meeting?
I think it's okay to wait
Okay.
based on what I
Um,
see on the subsequent slides and how you are using the little bit of funding since I asked for it that we do have extra. I suspect we're kind of going the same direction as last year.
Yes, we are pretty much going the same. Now it's time for us to rank. Let me go back in case people didn't get a chance to read it. We've talked about these objectives and preparation for this budget cycle. And of course, the way we rank it will help to determine what parameters that I have for the budget. So I sent out an email asking for everyone to rank the objectives online. And as you can see here, this is just the data compiled. I only got 6 people to respond out of the 9. Isn't it 9 total? So 6 people responded. The darker orange is first choice ranking, and then the darker blue is last choice ranking. And so we can determine how we would like to move things around based on what we see here. But I thought that this would be a nice way for us to start the conversation versus like the back and forth. I just thought the data might make it come more to life. What I see here is number 1 being number 1 and number 10 being number 10. Then there are a couple of fluctuations around maybe number 6, number 4, 3, and number 2, kind of what order you want to put those in. So I'll open the floor for discussion.
Just a clarifying question. So I understand, I think, what the intensity of the colors on the right mean. Is the sequence on 1 to 10 kind of like intending to do some sort of ranking by average of those numbers, or was the 1 to 10 the way they were listed?
I think it is attempting to do some kind of ranking.
Okay.
I listed it exactly how it was on the strategic plan slide. So ensuring the students receive,
Got it.
utilizing academic, then implementing PBIS, expand opportunities. So I listed it that way when I put it in.
Got it.
that would mean that this is, like you said,
It's kind of in
based
descending
on the
order.
average. Yeah, is ranked based on the average, but we don't have to keep it, right? This is what the 6 people that anonymously entered, how they ranked it.
You mentioned 6. I know we have some KPIs around engagement and communication. I forget what the exact wording is. Personally, I'd like to see that bump up in the list higher, in the ranking higher. If we just go off of what the ranking is now.
Like it would switch places with 5.
Yes, bump up, yes. Like pop up there at create. I would even say bump up above potentially 4. I mean, they're intertwining, right? Because you can save to keep all stakeholders. They kind of work together. So putting one ahead of the other, but
I mean, that's kind of what
I think communication is, yeah, I would suggest bumping it up above 4 in my opinion.
That's why I kind of suggested, like, if you look
Right.
at the number 1 rankings, number 2 rankings, if you recall, I did say that 6 looks like it should be more after like number 4. I mean, after number 3, but
Yep, and thanks for calling that out. That's why I looked right straight to that one. So thank you. Yeah, I would agree with you. I would agree to bump that up between 3 and 4 personally. I don't know if anybody else wants to chime in on their feelings on
Yeah,
the
I agree
current
with,
list.
I mean, I agree with that as well. I'm in favor of that.
Thank you, Mr. Langbein.
and so this would be something that I do after the fact, but what we are kind of landing on, or I could pop out of it. And no, I stopped sharing. That wasn't the button I was looking for.
Does anybody else have any feedback on that? Are they not wanting to see the list change, or are they okay with that adjustment? Just chime in.
I don't feel strongly. The thing I feel most strongly about, I like 1, 2, and 3 as being the top 3 in that sequence. That's what I would feel most strongly about.
I do too.
It seems like most people did, which is great. So looks like the numbers are numbering. I'm fine moving that one.
Yeah, and I like number 4. I think culture is the driver. So as long as that's in there as one of the top 5, I'm good with that.
Me too.
I know when the stakeholders and the community, as well as the staff, talk about that two-way communication and building the culture that they want. So they're kind of intertwined. So that's why I said I'm not one or the other. I think they kind of intertwine each together. So.
Can you still see? No, you can't. So let me share. I'm trying to number. So this is what I'm hearing is not in numerical order, but the number is beside the right wording.
So I believe the way you went was you put 5 after 4, which was Mr. Langbean's suggestion, which is after culture. Does that look?
Mhm.
Does that sound good to everybody? So that initial list
Mhm.
we saw, the one that we're moving up, the two-way communication is going after the culture. So you'll have 1, 2, and 3 are the same. And then 4 was the culture one. And then we're going to shift up the two-way communication up 1. Everything else stays the same.
Yeah.
Does that sound okay to everybody?
Mm-hmm.
So this initial list, just number 6 is bumping up 1 to 5.
Yes.
So if, is
Oh,
there
no,
any,
no.
Six went to
No,
four.
6 moved to
To
4.
4.
oh, I'm sorry,
And
6 went to
4
6 went to
moved
4.
down to 5. 5 moved to 6.
Seth,
7
sorry.
through 10 remain the same.
Sorry. Yes.
Okay.
I thought culture was number 3. I apologize. Thank you, Josh.
Culture is number 3.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Yes, we're saying the same thing. That's why I put it where it's like.
This is easier to see. So 6 bumps up. 6 is just on that other view. 6 is just bumping up after 3. Is that correct?
Correct.
Perfect. Thanks.
I can reorg.
I think the other view is fine if we just. Three. Okay, is culture. Any other input, questions? So what will happen with this for the reminder is that ideally then when we get to the budgeting phase, our priorities will line where our flexible funds. Principal Hollis will come to us and make suggestions on how to address these in ranking order, the order that we ranked it. Are there any other questions, concerns, comments about these? If there's not, then we would move to motion to adopt this list.
I move that we adopt this list.
As our priority
Yes.
ranking. Perfect for
This one, yeah, right here.
Yeah.
perfect.
Sounded
Perfect. Oops.
I
Sorry.
second that.
Sorry about that, guys. Thank you, Sudi. You motioned and Josh second. All those in favor, you can raise your hand or say aye. I see Dr.
Aye.
Bryant. I see Mr. Langbean, Hina, Jenny, Josh, Sudi, Doug. Thanks, Doug. So that is a unanimous vote. So there are none against, none opposed, and no abstentions. Thank you all. Thank you. That ranking made it so much easier to think about it offline compared to last year. I really think that should happen again next year, Principal Hollis.
Yeah, no problem.
It was
I
great.
like
Easy.
using data so we can see it and make informed decisions. So thank you all for that. The Go team has already held our district-wide budget allocation meeting. Looking at our breakdown of what happens next, I am working with my team and the associate superintendent to have discussions about how to address those objective priorities. And then we will bring back in February before the staffing conference our Go team meeting concerning feedback. Like when I tell you how and give you a couple options, we have those conversations. Then I have the meeting step 5 with my associate Suit, where I have review it and then have my staffing conferences step 6. And then after that, we come back before March 13th to vote and finalize. Okay. So a
And
little
if-
bit from last year, so I just wanted to vocalize it. Mhm.
If you didn't make the high school, middle school budget meeting, virtual meeting last week, there's one happening right now for elementary school, and there's another one this week. It's pretty general. So it is kind of like a how-to with budget and where monies are coming from. It's actually really good. It answers some of the questions that I had for Principal Hollis when we met with the CFO. So they're doing kind of a line by line where these numbers come from. They've also created an FAQ that was sent in your email from some of those questions that were asked at last week's meeting. And there is also a resource that they handed out that I did not see last year that answers some of those same questions, like where are these allocations coming from? So you can jump on this week's meeting if you didn't make last week's, even though it's elementary.
Do you know if they'll have a recording? I happen to have conflicts with all three of their options.
They should be. I believe it said recording, so I'm 99% positive, but we can get that for you.
So these were the priorities from last year that still actually remain priorities for this year, but I will probably add to this a couple things based on the conversation we just had. Utilizing data, making sure we have wraparound services, making sure we have advanced content, and still have spaces for non-gifted learners to be a part of that conversation, looking at our reading and writing, ensuring that we maximize our instructional time, ensuring that we have interventions for math and reading, STEAM, looking towards certification and SEL curriculum to help with our very hormonal grade band of 6th through 8th grade, but also celebrating the wins. So those were from last year. Again, I think they are relevant this year, but I do want to add something around communication. So we'll talk about that next time. So what's going to happen next is we'll go before the, I'll come to you all with a draft of how we will spend using those parameters and a couple more. There is a vote, then staffing conferences will occur, and then the final approval before approval vote will happen before mid-March. I will try to attempt to answer any questions you have. I did, if you look forward in what I gave you, I sent what the budget allocation meeting went over, what the process is, what your role is, and what my role is. And then our summary is there in the documents that you all have and will be posted online, and then what the actual allocations are. So I think that we are finished with that. Any other
Can I bring up one thing?
Sure.
I was just looking at the allocation. I saw that the projection for our incoming 6th grade class was, I think, below 396, which is lower than the projection for this year. So I was just wondering if we expected an influx of, a larger class than expected, like we had this year, and how that would, if we could, I don't know. I just found it interesting that they're projecting even fewer students than we had.
Could you
this
pop
year.
to that slide, Principal
There
Hollis?
are actually less students that came over this year than last year for our Rising programs field trip.
Okay.
I think is less kids in the cohort in general.
It's okay. Were you concerned by that number at all, or you think we'll be okay?
Oh, I'm gonna make it okay, Mr. Lane.
Yeah, you absolutely. Did they?
But
Okay.
I was concerned at first. We did have some more meetings before these numbers came out. So these were not the original allocations.
Okay.
So this has us going up by 106 students, and really is not by 106 students. This is by 106 students based on last year's allocations.
Okay.
Currently, let me go look. I didn't put that in this slide deck because I didn't know.
I think November we were 1191, and I believe then
Yeah, we're
we've
pretty
been
much
hovering around like
staying
1190.
around there.
Mhm.
So I think the lowest I've seen it get was like 1188.
So
But
they're adding what, 30 additional students for next year?
correct.
And so when I looked at this, we're getting, and this is all explained in the budget allocation meetings, but it is less per pupil. But just to know that number from last year, that's 13,625. That's not actually the allocation. Well, I guess it is the allocation that we originally received, but after leveling, it went down to 13,212. So, Mr. Langbein, your question I appreciate, because really hitting that number, and Principal Hollis, I know you're really trying to hit that number right on, so we get full funding for those students, because as we know, the leveling day, which is, I believe, day 15 in that allocation fiscal year 27 handbook, it says it's going to be day 15 as well before Labor Day. If we get any students at that point, we'll only get partial funding, which is that number right below it where it says 5,964, the base allocation for any student over that 221. So that's why our actual per pupil went down post leveling, because we had so many more additional students. So our number really landed last year at 13,212. I had that same question about it.
That just jumped out at me, and I just wanted to hear what y'all thought, but no, thank you.
So again, 1191, we're still hovering around there. I will just say our original allocations was barely 10 students. So I'm excited that we're getting the 30. I am being recorded. Okay, I'm excited that we're getting to 30. Because the more we can have the money up front, the more we can ensure that we have the staff during the hiring season, where it is more competitive, quite honestly. But I will do what I need to do to make sure we get the best that we can get. But that's kind of where we are right now with the allocations. Any additional questions before I think the next mode of business is the
Oh, I think you added this in a principal coffee in the foundation meeting, but I don't know if it was announced at the Go team about the Cognia.
No, it is coming up in the principal's report.
Oh, okay.
You want me to just go ahead and go to that?
I heard when you mentioned programs before. No, you can go in order. I'm sorry.
No problem. So we wanted to talk about our CCRPI data in case people were not able to join us in the principal's copy. I did send a letter home to parents about it as well, but as you can see, in purple were last year's numbers, and in black are this year's numbers. And we increased in all content mastery areas. I was very, very proud of the students and staff to get us at 100 plus for our weighted average for ELA and math. We are literacy leaders and math leaders for the state of Georgia for achievement and growth. So that was exciting. And then to have our science and social studies data to be in the 90s as well. Our closing the gap went down because our targets increased from last year. And so we have to hit even higher targets. So some of the targets we didn't quite hit, and other targets we hit and did what we needed to do. Traditionally, this number fluctuates up and down because, like I said, once you hit that higher point, you have to go even higher. If you recall from the first year that I was here, that number was 39. So closing the gaps, the score was 39 for the state. And for us to still only be within like 11 points of what we had last year and not drop as low as we were, I was very excited about that. It still shows we have work to do, right? But we didn't do horribly in that space. Then when we go over to progress, we increase. This is a harder piece to gain. And again, you're looking at improvement, how much you are growing students. So it's not the achievement, it's the growth in comparison to your same peer group. And so as you can see, it's 100 plus in ELA, 97.1 in math, and then our access test, that's where that comes into play. That score did drop. So we're looking to be more intentional in that space. And then finally, our readiness score, which deals with our attendance, which I like to say is one of the reasons why all the rest of the scores went up. If they are present, then Ms. Nolan and Dr. Bryant and Mr. Langbein and the rest of their peers can attend to the standards and teach what is expected. So when we look at or above grade level reading, we increased there from 84 to 85. Our student attendance increased from 85 to 90, and our beyond the core increased from 98, almost 99 to 99.15. So when we look at the 3-year average on the next page, you can see that you see that 37 data point that I discussed earlier. So this is how we have fared for the last 3 years. And you can see our single score data point has also increased. So very proud of the team and the students for getting us these numbers. Any questions?
What
No,
is the denominator? It's not all students, right? It's
Some things are all students and some things aren't. It depends.
okay. So the denominator changes. Is that based on like percentage of for those that it's a partial, not the total? Is it like groups where it's like you have to be at the school for so many days or a percentage of the year or whatnot?
Yes. Content mastery is for students that have met the attendance requirement by the state. Growth is the same. Closing the gap is the same. Readiness, Lexile, I think that's the same. Student attendance is not. If you were here for 30 days, then you count. And then beyond the core, I would think is everybody that ends the semester that gets a grade posted for a transcript. But it could be the percentage of days thing too.
And so
go ahead.
so like the 100 for ELA content mastery, what that signifies is whatever the denominator is, 100% of the students showed content mastery, or is this more like our school is at the 100th percentile relative to peer schools based on how our students did?
Neither. It's a weighted average.
Okay.
So it is the number of students that at the number of days attendance needed by the state. And then if you recall me talking about before, if the student is developing, they give us a half a point. Proficient is a full point, distinguished is 1.5 points.
Got
That's
it.
how you get above 100 because it's weighted.
Got it.
And they're not giving me all my points when they just say 100 plus. Because I think it was like 103, 102, something like that. In reality, and I have this somewhere, but content mastery, I think we ranked 17th, somewhere around in there for the state middle grades.
Okay.
So I thought that was really good.
And you can explore this data and expand it too. When there's definitions on the dashboard, there's a whole bunch of more data to answer your question, Josh, or anyone that's wanting to read a little bit more. There's subgroup data. There's all sorts of information on the different
Group data doesn't play into content mastery. The subgroup data plays into progress and closing gaps.
I just meant the achievement levels on this
Mhm.
slide for content mastery. They have achievement levels on that link I just sent.
Thank you. Any other questions?
No, but I was just gonna give some props because those look great. Those numbers. Thank y'all.
Thank you. I like to say we're rivaling with our elementary peers, right? So very exciting to get us out of that orange and to remain in the green. And thanks for noticing. School updates. We have our science fair. Every student participated in classroom fair. The classroom fair allowed them to go to the school fair, and now we're taking our top 20 to the Metro Science Fair. We'll call it the district, but it's not really the district because it also includes some private and charter schools as well. And then our next 10 after that, we are advancing them to the district technology fair, which is both coming up next month. Our MAP testing window, we opted into, and I want to say that multiple times, we said it every principal's copy, we opted into the testing window for March so that we have the most current data taking us into the milestones window. We also paid for a third administration of right score for 6th and 7th grade. That was done because the right score administration that the district paid for was not the peer reviewed assessment. I don't know if Ms. Nolan wants to speak more to that, but the test will be different this year in 6th and 7th grade, and they're going to be doing a peer review. And we wanted to ensure that the students had an opportunity to engage in the peer review assessment before the milestones. Ms. Nolan, did you want to speak to that? Is she here? She might have went to gifted.
She is, but I think she's oh wait,
Dual
you're on mute.
purposing. Okay.
I'm dialing.
You're on mute. So Miss Nolan is doing the gifted certification, and it coincides right now with this meeting, and those meetings are mandatory. So
Yes, I was just trying to make sure I covered all the bases, and Miss Nolan shaking her head to say that I did cover everything that she heard. But yeah, 6th and 7th grade have to take a peer review assessment. It will not look like the 6th and 7th grade traditional milestones from the past. And so we did not want the first time the students to see an assessment of that sort to be at the milestones. So we being the school, paid for a third administration of right score that included the peer reviewed piece. The next right score will be given in March. The results on average for that peer reviewed showed us at proficient for 6th and 7th grade. You can see the average, the number of points for each of the categories that they will be assessed on is 22 points, and then they average the other items. I want to say it's 4 or 5 different domains that's being tested in that 22 points. And as you can see in the range that they gave, we were in proficient in that first look. So very happy about that. Then I was talking about STEAM. We are doing some PBLs this year that we had not done before. We're kind of fine-tuning our gardening PBL that starts with composting. In 6th grade, they're dealing with worms and such. In 7th grade, they're actually planting, and they did plant for spring last year. They did some fall planting, and then they'll plant again in the spring. And in 8th grade, they're testing the pH of the soil and working with the University of Georgia, who came out and did some soil samples. And then on the flip side, that's a science focus. Our math focus PBLs are going to be around food trucks. I mean, we are in downtown Atlanta. We are near the Beltline, so the food truck is the thing. And so we're looking at creating from they're still working through some of this, but creating the containers that you're gonna give your food in, unit costs and profit analysis. I think that's what the 3 levels are. And those are my updates. Any questions?
I don't think so.
I think
that-
this is in here because it's a generic slide deck. But Ms. Eldery, I'm not wrong in that the cluster advisory meeting is upcoming.
Well, that's the previous one. So I think I don't think we met after that one, but in short, at the CAT meeting, we got an update on the charter system renewal. They will make public the application. The process looks a little bit different. That is the charter application with APS in the state that goes up this summer. So APS is put in for another charter system application. When that application is available, it will go to the state, and then their board will meet and vote on that. I'll send that application out once it was sent. They said they'd put it online. Attendance-wise, we got feedback from each school. We just consolidated it, what each school is doing, highs and lows, challenges that they found, and we documented those from our cluster. The budget, we gathered some challenges, questions, concerns. Projections was one of them for the middle school and high school level. A lot of the things that we've already talked about at our school level, but it was just more, again, bringing all of the concerns and questions at all of the schools at the cluster level. So those were all consolidated. I can send you guys those meeting notes. They're pretty detailed. And it was great to hear principals' different feedback on those. Something that was new this year, or I don't know exactly when it started in the last 2 years, is that there are fees that are being charged from schools for after-school events, chorus concerts, sporting events, from my understanding, anything that's after school, like any family engagement activity. And those costs are pretty large and were unexpected. So they are getting charged. And Principal Hollis, correct me if I'm wrong, Principal Hollis was actually doing the Rising Rams night at the same time that this meeting was happening. So we're talking about it right here, but they're paying for SROs, overtime, and janitors. So you're looking at, I've heard numbers $1,800, over $2,000, and we know our cluster is large and there is not funds coming in There's not a line item that I can see on the budget for this that has been added since this charge has been added to our school. So this is one thing with Principal Hollis I have questions about when we're looking at our budget for this next year. Like, how will that look? How much are you having to adjust your budget for those things? And I just,
They
have-
gave us, I guess I'm going to presume that they looked at the events that we've had over the last year to come up with an average amount for the custodial overtime and security overtime. The custodial overtime did not come to the schools until this school year, but then they pulled it back. And then the SRO overtime has been coming to us for about a year.
Okay. So you don't have any concerns with that? Is that what you're saying? You're able to?
Oh, I did not say that.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because I heard from 3 different principals in the cluster that they have concerns that that is an exorbitant amount that they were not expecting. And, engagement, culture, Mr. Langbein, like you said, all these things are really important. So I can let you guys all know that at the CAP meeting, we voiced concern. Those who attended the budget meeting last week, we expressed concern again, and we're asking the district to look at this a little bit more closely. I don't know how it's scaled or where these funds are going and or given. I have a lot of questions about that.
So I can only speak for Ms. Hollis. This current school year, because we had the security grant from the state, I have been utilizing those funds to pay the overtime fees for our SROs. Not having that next year, it'll look different, right?
So on that allocation sheet, you guys will see that was those one-time air quotes, because we've gotten it, I think, twice. Security grants from the state was $45,000. So that has been pulled off this year. That's staying at the district level. So she doesn't have that money to pay for these overtime SROs. In addition, they've pulled back from middle schools and high schools the athletic stipends, and those are going to be submitted in some sort of process. We asked for clarification around both of those items, but now knowing you were using those funds for overtime fees, so it's 45
for the security guards for like our morning tutorials. And if you've been at the school lately, it was suggested that I move the metal detector into the vestibule. If you know, there is a active project going on around all schools to create a vestibule where that would where that's where we would do the security clearance. The issue for us is that was not in the plans for this current school year, so I don't have a security guard present or hired to be out there at all times. And so before my front office clerks would go through the bags and pay attention, with it being moved to the vestibule area, we'll see.
So at Midtown, I think they made that adjustment last year too. Does there have to be, do 2 people have to be there, or can it just be 1?
I don't think there is a
Requirement.
a guideline around it because it's not funded. And so again, I was using the security guard. So once we finish getting all the kids in, one is walking the hallways, the other one was still in the front checking bags, to get through the big morning push. And so we're having to rethink how we're doing that next year, because it's not much I can do with it this year.
So this is going to be a requirement next year, but not a funded requirement. Is that correct?
I don't know.
Is it a requirement?
I don't know.
Okay. So a question. Got it.
Yes. Maybe a guardrail. Yeah. So, to answer your question, we were using that 45,000 to do those things. And that's pretty much all that I have for today. As far as announcements are concerned, we're excited. Our boys basketball team went undefeated. They are starting the playoffs this week. The girls, we lost in overtime by 1 point in the last game. So we are still going to the playoffs there. So I'm very excited about that for the boys and the girls. And we have done all of our Rising Rams field trips from the elementary schools over. We got those done before the snow day. We did move our awards program from today to next week because we didn't know what the ice storm was going to give us, and we didn't want to have to ask people to change that at the last minute. So we prepared and moved it earlier last week till next week. And I think that communication was pretty strong because no parents showed up expecting awards day programs today. So we'll have that next Tuesday to those that which is majority of the kids will be honored in some kind of way. That's about all the announcements I have. We do have the Rising Rams Roundtable parent sponsored PTO next month. Are there any other announcements that anybody else have?
I just had a question. Wasn't the basketball Monday? And so when is it now?
I think it's
wasn't the
tomorrow. It was supposed to be Monday, but they moved it Friday. So I feel like it's tomorrow.
Okay.
And it's at the school. So.
And I think they're trying to have a cluster basketball game night at Midtown on Friday. I believe I saw today as well that you guys sent out. You mentioned field trips. The field trip funding is changing too. That's being held at the district. Is that right? Or transportation funding?
Yes, that is. I don't have any more information than what you all heard last week.
Okay.
They were supposed to be getting more information to us. I did utilize those funds this year to decrease how much we are asking parents to pay and to actually increase the number of STEAM field trips that the students attend. If you recall, we only asked for $25 from 6th grade. I want to say it was $15 from 7th and $10 from 8th. And they go on some really good field trips. 8th grade is more social studies driven, but it's still STEAM. They go to a war site from the Civil War, which goes into Georgia studies. They're doing a walk-in field trip on the civil sites in Old Fourth Ward, and that's a book study pairing. One of the authors, I think, from UGA. So they'll be getting that soon. And then they'll do Piedmont Park, and it'll be something around science there. So we really try to be intentional with our field trips and make sure that they align with the standards. We have some author visits coming up next month, and Foundations is helping to fund those costs to have an author come in who has a what was it called? Because I'm trying to think of it right now. I can't think of the name, but like a picture book. It's not a picture book. It has words in it too. Can't think of the name of the type of literature it is.
Graphic novel.
Thank you.
Done.
Thank you. Yes, a graphic novel around viruses. And so that author came, I think the 8th graders saw, no, they didn't see it last year. So she came 2 years ago. And so it was really well received. That would be the 9th grade class that saw it. So we're bringing it back. And then in preparation for Women's Appreciation Month, we're going to talk about, she has another book as a female STEAM person, have her to speak to kick off that celebration month as well. Thank you, Mr. Brooks, so much. I don't know why I could not think graphic novel any other
Maybe
day.
it's not graphic novel, but it's graphic something.
Yeah, it is a graphic novel, actually.
Okay, I didn't know if it was fiction or nonfiction, but okay, all right.
It can be either. It's the way that it's done, using artwork and then the verbiage to look more like a comic strip-ish, but it can be fiction or nonfiction. They used to do one in Midtown called March on John Lewis and Martin Luther King's March on Salem. So that would be nonfiction, but, and you know, This About Viruses will be nonfiction as well, but it can be fiction too.
Yep.
Perfect. Are you done with all of your updates? And
I am. I'm so excited about that too.
Good. Good. So they're going to be going into East Blast. They're meeting right now. They haven't announced any meetings for the APS 2040, anything district-wide yet. The website is up. And as soon as we hear anything on that, we'll help push that out to the community and ask that you do that as well. I think that's all we have tonight. Any public comments? Anybody add? Jump on. I don't see anybody in the chat.
I'm heading to the sheet now
Okay.
for that. I don't see anything. And no, we don't have any.
Okay. So does anybody have any other announcements? Nope. So I will take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
A second.
We need a first, I think.
Oh,
Miss Bryan will take a first.
I'll take a first.
Hina, I see your hand for a second. And I call this meeting to adjourn at 5:50 p.m. Thank you all. We'll see you on,
Thank you.
beginning of next month. Thank you, Principal Hollis.
Thank you.